Hey everyone, just wanted to say hi today. I'm catching up with Tim Gurner actually in a few minutes. I'm doing the podcast show. So we're going to catch up about his recent sale. He was able to sell off the plan a $30 million apartment in Melbourne. I think it smashed the records in Victoria for one of the most expensive apartments ever sold. Google it. Literally sold about a month ago an apartment in the St. Moritz building on St. Kilda Beach by Gurner. So, interesting enough, the tip today I want to talk to you about is some design elements to look out for as a property investor. We know Australia has got 40 million people due to engulf the country by 2050. We need a new property every 3 minutes and 55 seconds in Australia. So I tell you what, there's some downward pressure because there's always new properties coming to the marketplace. So how can we safeguard our assets and choose something that's going to stay and last the test of time? Well, this is how I approach it. I look for the pedigree of the architect, builder, and developer. If I'm buying something in the new space, and remember we need a new property every 3 minutes and 55 seconds, so buying new is pretty normal, and because potentially the only gearing we're going to get into the future is off new properties, many investors are going into the new property space. So what do I look for? I look for a track record of the developer. I like to see what their renders are like versus their reality. In other words, their history in the past. I also like to understand the caliber of the architect, whether it is a draftsman architect behind what is occurring, whether they're entry-level architects, or whether we are talking brand name architecture, which is going to help hold real estate value for the long term. Also like looking into obviously space. Space in real estate is very important. Size is important in real estate, but because we are becoming quite a populated country, our cities are being urbanized, space is being fought after. There's two things being fought after in real estate: location and proximity, and all that means is it's a battle for space. Right now it's very hard to maximize space, and one tip I've got for you to maximize space is to look for volume. Volume, of course, allows space to feel bigger. If you've got a 50 square meter apartment and a 2.4 meter ceiling, it's going to feel quite condensed. If you've got a 50 square meter apartment and a 2.7 meter ceiling, it's starting to feel more volume. If you've got a 3 meter ceiling or a 4 meter ceiling, all of a sudden you're feeling really, really good when you walk into that property. Light and ventilation is also a very important element for property investors to consider. What orientation your property is facing, how the sun is connecting with your property, and how actually the airflow works. These little tips are fantastic when it comes to understanding particularly new properties. Fixtures and fittings are also important in my view. Today, because of the trend of new dwellings coming to the market, I think it's important to understand that literally, if you don't have something with really good fixtures and fittings, it will depreciate very, very quickly. Pay the extra, put some better appliances, better lighting, better blinds, better curtains, and you won't be renovating in a short period of time. If you put the crappy stuff in, generally what's going to happen, you're going to have to upgrade sooner. The good stuff should last you 15 to 20 years. My final tip is potentially, if you can get into it and afford to do it, buy a property with a view. Views are worth a lot of money in real estate, and it doesn't have to be a city view or a sea view or a harbour view. It can be a bush view. It can be a district view. They help real estate hold money, and they certainly help real estate go up in money. Some of these elements we use by Tim Gurner when he sold his $30 million property. It had breathtaking views, lots of space, lots of fantastic orientation. It was north facing. So some good tips, great architecture in his $30 million sale. So we can learn from the best. If people are prepared to pay $30 million, if we learn from really what they were buying from that particular property and apply it to our $300,000 or $400,000 or $500,000 property, we're off to the races. Thanks for your time.